topic that you know and love. Jabroni's following you out an access gate, because that happened to you yesterday.
Oh, jamokes.
Oh.
In tow. It's like, it's the worst, when you're heading out and, you go out of a backcountry gate and then you look behind you and you see, a couple lost lambs and they
think you're gonna shepherd
looking
them.
to you for, where to go. Like, so they have gone out this access gate and they know that there's good shred lines out there, but they don't know where it goes. They don't know the route, and they want to follow you.
Yeah.
And, famously, it happens everywhere, but, ballroom at Breck being the number one.
Yeah, but ballroom's safe because all you have to do is make sure you go down, for the most part.
Yeah, but you can go to the wrong side. If you go off the south side, it's more dangerous, right? And you can end up... The thing about it, going out of the gate is you can end up not back to lifts. So,
well, that's the thing. Yeah. But even on ballroom, you'd have to be an idiot to head south because everyone is heading north.
Right.
And if you follow the foot track. So
I've seen it done. It's the worst. Yeah,
I
totally.
know people that have done it.
The thing is...
I shouldn't say I know these people.
Sure,
they've told me they've done it. I just look at them like they're fucking retarded.
The feeling that happens is like you're hiking up and they're about to ask you like, where does this go? Which is the ultimate in like, the sign says like, know before you go with somebody who knows. And of course in skiing and snowboarding, there's the risk of avalanche. And if you get hurt out of bounds, you're on your own. Ski patrol's not going to get you.
Oh, yeah.
There's you should bring the proper equipment, beacons, shovels, probes. You should go with people that know, these are all things you can learn in an avalanche course. But, so then there's, of course, side country, which is a term that people don't like. But, when you go just out of bounds off of a ski resort to backcountry access, they got awesome runs that are, off-piste.
Off-piste, no.
And, but then they follow you, and you're like, uh-oh. And so there I am. Usually it's a mix of, like, what do I do, tell this person to fuck off.
I do.
They go, where are we going? And I go, I don't know where the fuck you're going. Or they go, like, can I come with you? And I go, no.
So
somebody jumped on with us yesterday, and
yeah.
We were in a shack smoking, and he goes, oh, man, I'm so glad I smelled this ganja because I didn't know where the fuck I was going. And I'm like, dude, yeah, you're lucky, fuck, that we smoked such loud ganja, and you found us, and that we're going to now, and like, he's not like, can I follow you out? He's just attached now.
I found a guy in a creek bed one time at Beaver Creek. Coming through
on his own, lost.
On his own, stuck up to his waist.
Right, and that's the issue.
I roll up to him like, yo, man, you okay? You, need anything? You need help? You want me to get you out? No, man, I got this. This is no big deal. I'm like, okay, you're in a creek bed, so, you're probably getting wet.
And it's cold now.
So I go down, make another lap, go out.
Oh, shit.
And he's there, he's turning blue.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, you want anything? And he starts getting angry and pissy with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever, dude. So I come out again, and there he is. And he's just to the point, I fucking unstrapped and just pulled him right out and dragged him to the bottom. And I was like, you're dying.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah,
idiot.
dude.
But when I lived
it's a safety issue.
It is a safety issue. That is, when I was living in Washington, we went out a gate to go hit a jump that we'd been building.
Mm-hmm.
And these fucking kids just roll up and they're like, hey, we're going to hit that. No, I just spent hours building this. Like, you can go fuck off.
Exactly.
And so they tried to build a jump right next to us.
Right next
to us. I mean, we literally, our lip was probably this high from the ground. I mean, it was a backcountry jump, you know? And these kids built like a kicker, like this high from the top of the table.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it like, they couldn't fucking ride. And
that's a good example. It's like levels of kind of what you should know when you're there and what's... I don't know, it's just like, it's this fucked up thing of like, okay, like at the Beavers at A Basin, for instance, you go down and you have to hitchhike your way back up.
Well, you gotta hike all the way back to the road.
You hike back up to the road and like if you miss that exit, you're fucked. You could be wallowing around down there, lost. Luckily, but here's the other thing, like, so you're hitchhiking back now, and instead of me and my homies, 4, now there's fucking 8 people. Because these people followed us, and now they're, like, right behind us as we, you know, and now it's like...
Well, this year at Copper, I had a guy try to...
We skipped them, actually. Like, these people that followed us out, and we had to tell them how to get out, they're now, like, in front of us for the pickup.
Yeah.
And the homie Seth Carlsrud pulls in, and so we just skipped the people that we were like, oh, it's the homie Seth, like... We skipped them and let them...
I've done that before.
We already showed them the exit. We were like,
I've done that when I'm hitchhiking. I will straight up... I've gotten in the car and they're like, they with you? Nope, go.
Yeah.
And just leave them. And
so here's the funniest shit about it is, like, there I am. There's this awesome log jib in the Beavers, right? And it's fucking huge. And there I am, and, like, this 3-pack of skiers is there now. And, you know, my buddies are like, all right, you can ski under, but my buddy's fitting to jump, you know? So they ski under and, of course, turn around to watch me. And so there I am, like, on one of the biggest fucking hits of the whole season. And and this happens all the time, I have 3 strangers.
Yeah.
And they're part of the audience. And there have been a couple times when I'm like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Like, we're not here to fucking entertain you. Like, you're throwing me off, you know? And then there's other times when I'm like, all right, you guys are here. You're part of the show right now, you know? Like, you're part of my audience, and it kind of pumps you up.
Right.
But it's this weird feeling of, like, I'm going to do one of the craziest stunts of the year, and there's 3 jamokes over here, and it's like, if I make it, they don't even understand how crazy it is, because they're like, backcountry skiers lost, or they're not even backcountry skiers, they're just, you know, Joes that are like... They see me hit this, they're like, oh, cool.
Even better is when they have rental equipment.
Right.
That's the one that mystifies. Like, you can barely make it down a fucking green run.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
How'd you get out here?
Why are you following me? I've had people follow my tracks.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know where I'm going, and I also know how to read terrain, and I also know, like, if you get so far in, stop and take, you know... Take a view,
exactly.
You know, take it all in and know, like, oh, that's a creek bed. You know, like, you've ridden long enough, you can tell what's a creek bed, what's not.
What's choke, where they get lost,
I've had that happen where, like, I've pulled up and stopped, and I noticed, like, that's a cliff right over there. And I know it, and the guy just rolls up, why'd you stop? Like, he'll run into me, and he's like, why'd you stop? And I look at him and go, because that's a cliff.
Yeah, like,
no, it's
they're
not.
Literally following you and then questioning you.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, don't fucking follow me then.
When I look back and I see that there's no fresh track, you are following my track.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? And
why are you trying to counter?
That happened to me at Copper this year. I went way out over on the far west side of it, and there's a gate. You basically go underneath the Poma, and you traverse all the way out, and then there's a gate. And I was out there just blasting, because it gets these huge wind lips that are super surfy, and I was just blasting them. And this dude just rolls up to me on a fucking rental board. And he is just so cocksure of himself. He's like, so where's the nearest chairlift?
Oh, Jesus.
And I had to be like, dude, it takes me 20 minutes to get back to a chairlift from here. Like, you're basically traversing back out into the mountain. Yeah. And my friend Scott missed the traverse and ended up out on the highway one time and had to hitchhike down 70. Back to Copper.
Yeah. Totally, yeah, and he knows the fucking area.
He knows, and
it's funny, man. People are so willing to.
They just get so full of themselves.
Well, they want to ride that good shit, and I can't blame them. Somebody brought me out. That's how I learned the ropes. But, you know, luckily I had the right friends who
You had the right friends. You also had the right ability level.
And I had to earn my spot, you know, and I wasn't...
I think
I've been very gun-shy of going to the backcountry over the years based on that, you know. Like, I don't go just fucking blindly unless this was somebody that I know. And, like, East Vale, I never rode... Or West Vale, I never rode West Vale for fucking 10 years because I didn't know the right squad. Yeah. And then I met the squad of the Ravinos that showed me, and I was like, this is fucking West Vale, I get it. Like, that's great.
You gotta go with someone that knows, and you gotta earn your right to go there. I can remember at Breck one time, I was gonna go hike something. And this kid just gets on the chairlift with me, which I obviously hate.
Yeah.
I look down. I mean, it's a 12-inch powder day, and he's got a 148. He's probably my size.
Yeah.
You know, I just frame of reference. My everyday board is a 54, but my POW board is like a 58-60.
Yeah.
And this kid is just talking to me, and he's like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I'm going over there." "Well, can you show me how to get there?" "No."
Yeah.
and he tried to follow me. And, you know, eventually he ran into me on the lift later in the day because I'd come back in. And he's like, dude, you left me. You left yourself. Yeah. I told you I wasn't going to do this. One, you're riding too small of a board. Two, you told me you had just moved here, which means you have shit riding ability in my mind. Yeah. You know, you can always judge someone when they start talking, and when they're like, yeah, I'm super sick, and it's early in the season, or the season hasn't started, they're full of shit. Yeah. If it's the middle of the season and they told you just moved here, they suck. You can spot someone that's actually decent because they're like, I can get down the hill. That's what I always tell people. I'm like, I can get down the hill. And they're like, what's that mean? I was like, I can get down the hill. Some days it looks good, some days it looks bad. But I don't freak out in certain terrain. I'm not scared. Like, if I have to ride over a rock face, I'll ride over a rock face. I've done it numerous times out different gates where I'm like, shit, just cliffed myself out on some rocks. Guess I'm going rocker. I'd harness my inner Andrew Hardingham and point it.
Hell yeah.
Just destroy my base.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the biggest thing about it is if you go off of side country gate, and there's hazards everywhere. You could ski into a stump, you can ride into a rock, and like none of it is fucking. It's all.
Have you ever been involved in a slough slide or an avalanche?
I've pushed off slough slides.
No, I mean caught.
No. I've seen one go.
I've been caught in a slough and I've been buried.
There's only been one where it's like avalanche, fucking get on the sleds, but the dude was above it all in the spring. So no, thank God I've never had to.
I've experienced it. I've experienced that, and just the stupidity of people. Like, if I don't know you, I'm not going to trust you. And I've legitimately threatened to beat the hell out of people. I'm like, why are you following me? Get the fuck away from me. Or I'm
gonna that's the funny thing. Is
if you vibe them hard, it's good. My friend Charlie up in Washington legitimately pulled a knife on a guy one time.
Jesus,
because the guy couldn't take the hint, and the guy was getting aggro, and Charlie was just like. He's like, we doing this? Because there ain't no one coming out here for you. And the guy just turned around and boot packed back out. But the guy...
I will... No, that's it. Like, because you can't take on that kind of responsibility. It's almost like you're on a ship, a fishing vessel, and it's like somebody's like, can I go? And you're like, no, dude, you can't. And it's... you know, but then again, you know, if you're the right type person, you might get the call and say, come on along, dude. And somebody will bring you on a magic adventure, and you will know, and you will learn, and that's the beauty of it.
When I did ride Breck and stuff, because I know that mountain like the back of my hand from years of riding it.
Amen.
I have taken a lot of people into stuff that I was like, you're probably going to be uncomfortable, and I would explain to them, like, this is going to be here. You're going to want to go left, or you want to go right. You know, I make sure that they're safe to get out of there. But I'm like, you've earned the right to come out there, and that's
and they have the best run of their vacation or life or fucking day or whatever.
It's kind of like log jibs getting taken to a log jib. You got to earn that right.
Yeah,
I mean, you might find them on your own, and maybe you remember how to get back there. But to go with someone that's a true logger and can give you the history and tell you how to do stuff, it's an invite.
And then if you're part of that, if you're the person who gets invited and like. You get to see some shit go down. It can be a fucking game changer, you know. It's amazing, and you can be part of the team for that moment. You're involved.
I remember when I lived in Steamboat, my assistant manager when I worked for Christie's, Jonathan, was like, "Hey, you want to go check out the golf course?" I was like, "What's the golf course?" I kept hearing about the golf course, and so he took me out, and we went and played mini golf.
Through a zone that's dubbed the golf course.
It's the golf course.
A bunch of different.
It's putt-putt. And so
that's good.
You know, you got to traverse out, and he explained everything. He's like, you're going to start to see this, and the way the natural fall line is with the trees. He goes, that's when you want to start cutting left, because if you don't, you're going to go into a creek bed, and it's going to take you a couple hours to hike out.
Yeah, and I mean, we joke about it, and it's not to be like, yo, you're not allowed to roll with us, because I mean, 2 scenarios this winter. Experienced riders stuck in the backcountry. Our friend Kelsey got frostbite on her toes out in Monarch.
Well, she's a special breed.
But I mean, just regardless of the details, you know.
Yeah.
And then Brooke from Yobi got stuck out for 10 hours.
10 hours. Brooke was.
And that was sketch, you know, like
sketchy. But I know where she was in that zone, and
easy to happen.
It's easy to happen if you don't pay attention. And
no,
you get
absolutely.
Caught and that's why she wrote that article. And
yeah, no, I really enjoyed her description of it. How it's like that
was probably her last article she wrote for Yobi. Rest in peace. They're out of business.
I made the O-Slammies just in time. I made the crash of their Insta.
They're Instagram only now. They're not doing anything with their website. They're
All right.
basically
okay.
dead,
So yeah, the Yo-Slammies. I made it on there.
Nice. But
my biggest, most views of all winter.
Yeah.
Landed some stuff too, but the Yo-Slammies always is the one you get the most views.
Right. Well. And that's the thing. It can happen to anyone. I mean, I've definitely had to hike back in out of stuff that sucks because I misguided it. I made one wrong turn. The difference between me and most people is I don't freak out in that situation. I just go, okay, well, I came down this way and I knew I had to be more left. So,
yeah.
So you hike back up because you're hiking back up. You go to the right. Follow back to where you should have gone left because it would have been skiers left. It's just people don't understand that, and I don't want to be responsible for some dumbass that just came out on vacation or just moved here that didn't know what they're doing. And I also don't want to have to babysit them and talk them through a 6-hour hike back out. Because I think the longest hike I ever had to do was at Stevens Pass. And, I mean, that year was insane. And part of the problem was I didn't count on the fact that the amount of snow we got would make the run out that flat. And I ended up being smart and just throwing my board down, climbing on it.
You're stuck in a field.
I ended up paddling back in, but that took me 2.5, 3 hours to get back to the cat track to get to the chairlift. Yeah. And then, my girlfriend at the time was kind of freaking out, and I didn't have a cell phone, and
it's like we think about resort and we think about it as like an amusement park that's kind of got security and a sense of security.
It does.
This is the opposite of that, where
it's the Wild West.
You're allowed to do what you want, and you're allowed to go out there if you want, and that's a beautiful thing, so. Yeah. It stays guarded. A lot of people
I know what we can do, though. Yeah. This is how we can make money. You and I will take people with us out access gates and show them where all the goods are. Not.
It'll be like the mask, and they'll cover our voice. Well, we'll show you the ride, but I'm pretty sure that's Z-Grip and Apron.
We're gonna put like a fucking
we'll put you in a van. We spin you around, and you put a pillowcase over your head, and we drag you.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that with most of our viewership.
No. But that's the thing. Like, God, it's cool when somebody shows you a spot.
Yeah.
And then you learn it well enough, and then maybe those people, you don't show them anymore. Now you show that spot to somebody else.
The next generation.
The next gen. Like, this was Little Tokyo I was talking about earlier, a run in Vail. And my first crew showed me, and then I showed this crew, and then I remember this crew went and shredded it on a day I wasn't at Vail this winter. Yeah. And was like, Zach, we hit Little Tokyo. It was amazing. Thank you so much for showing us. And I was like, oh, fuck, like, somebody showed me that, and now you're there.
I had the opposite effect. I think I showed the wrong people, because the one time I went out to this one zone, it was completely tracked out. I was like, fuck, are you kidding?
Yeah, and that's like, God damn it. Your stash. They found your spot. They found your stash. And it's... it's such a funny fucking thing that we guard something that's not really ours at all.
No,
people have this ownership and possessive nature around things that aren't theirs.
And that's the whole thing. Is I think it's just you earned it, and you feel a little betrayed when it's gone.
It's
I don't know. Yeah. I'm trying to be better with people, but I've realized that I hate humanity, and people just annoy me, and it's like, I don't trust them. And you're like, dude, you're going to ruin it for me. Like, I'd rather it just be mine, because that way, if it gets ruined by me, it's like, I'm the only one to blame. But if someone else ruins it for me, I'm like...
And herein is the big issue, in that the beavers that we're speaking of will be set for expansion.
In public. It won't have a chairlift this next year, but the year after, there will be a chairlift. Yeah. So people will be able to go out there.
And there it is. It's kind of one of those open spaces debates, like, should this be open for dirt biking and or should it be quiet for everybody who wants to hike?
I understand the expansion out there, and that's part of their.
I'm actually based 7 years old. They're gonna.
I'm all for that, because I remember when they opened Montezuma, people said the same thing when they opened the Montezuma Bowl, and now look at it. It's awesome. You get good terrain, and it's getting patrolled. It's a little safer, and I mean, since I've lived here, I think I've known of 3 people that have died out there.
In the beavers.
In the beavs. I remember the year the one kid. Well, that about does it for this podcast. Zach's going to go do some POW surfing.
Yeah.
I am actually going to reach out to the local Burton rep to drop off some product with him. And then I'm taking off to New York this week for the brother's wedding. And Zach's going to ride out the rest of the season at the basin because I think they're closing June 4th.
Is that so?
I think that's what they're doing. I'll be back before then, but I'm done after tomorrow because I'll have finished all the boards I need to ride for product reviews.
Congratulations, man.
Fuck, dude.
What
thanks.
a big feat.
Dude, this is probably the biggest year yet, and the fact that I'm bringing it to video is huge. Which, just so people know, there will be a trailer dropping probably in the next week. I'm actually going to finish filming that. John Cena Corn's going to make an appearance. He's actually going to have motion. I shot some motion stop motion.
Cena. My Switch cohort.
Yeah, your Switch cohort. So John Cena Corn's going to be in that, and we'll see. There might be some other characters making guest appearances, some other local celebrities, whatnot.
Yeah, man, that's the best about these board reviews of yours is they're filled with awesome and entertaining bits and nuggets. It isn't just like, oh, this is the camera, this and that.
I'm
like
trying
talking about snowboard with your bud. It's a real thing.
I'm trying to be the local shop guy for every person that doesn't have a local shop
like
guy.
it,
the guy you can email me. Surprisingly, actually, when you email me questions about gear, I'm more willing to respond. But when you send me some stupid bullshit, I'm like, fuck off, I hate you.
Yeah, you're like, oh, gear? Let's talk about gear. Love it.
Yeah, it's because I'm such a nerd. Hopefully, we'll have a new Angry Tech Cast with Kevin and I coming up. Next week, too. By the time you guys listen to this, there should be another Angry Asks. This one will be with Courtney Newberg, the camp director for Wendell. It's a good friend of mine. Mm-hmm. Also, don't forget to check out the previous one with Mike Sears. Mm-hmm. And that's about what we've got going on. As always, remember to click through the affiliate links. That helps support us if you buy anything from like Backcountry, Evo, or anything like that. I'll have the links in the product description below, either on YouTube or Angry, or maybe you're listening to it on iTunes. Actually, if anything, you guys that listen to it off iTunes, if you could please leave a review, that would really help us get higher ranked. The higher ranked we get, the more they will play it. Right now, it's not doing as hot as I would like, so... Review the guy that does reviews for you. So that would be really good for us. It would help us. Also, if you got any questions, comments, or topics you think Zach and I should talk about in a future episode, let us know. We'd love to hear what you think about him possibly doing On the Hill with Z Griff for Angry instead this year. Instead of doing Summit Daily, it would be a little bit different of a format.
We can hit the road and come see you and your squad.
Yeah.
And you can show us your spots.
Yeah, you could show him. I will not be traveling with him most likely, unless we go to Big Boulder, because Mike Sears and I and Pat Morgan, we got this idea about doing the Peak Resorts Cannonball Run, where we go to all the different peak resorts. So that's Hunter, Big Boulder, Jack Frost, Mount Snow.
That'd be sick.
I think Sunapee's on there.
Oh, my hometown.
No, Sunapee isn't on there. But
we'll go.
But I think there's something up there. But yeah, we would do that, and Mike and I and Zach.
We got to go on my first year of On the Hill. We did the Nightmare Midwest road trip.
Yeah.
And we went to a couple different spots, and you can look all those up. And it was cool, man. We got to really check out the different spots and the scenes, and I just love it, the lodges and all this shit.
So if that's something you guys want to do, the other thing is, do you think Zach and I and Ben should actually review Hollywood shred movies?
I love it.
I think we should. I think this would be like a late summer, early fall project.
It's like, at the drive-in.
Yeah, kind of like at the drive-in. Well, I think it would be more like... Did you ever watch TNT's Monster Vision with Joe Bob Briggs? Joe Bob Briggs is like one of my favorite TV show hosts, right up there with Elvira. I love this. I love this stuff because the biting satirical commentary that they give
on these videos.
Joe Bob. Every Friday night, you would watch Monster Vision, and he introduced me to some of the best movies I've ever seen, and just what he does in his social commentary. And his real name is John Bloom, but he used to do At the Drive-In for the Movie Channel for Turner Classic, or maybe it's for Turner Classic. It was for Turner Classic Movies. Guy's hilarious. I think it would be fun to do something like that. YouTube's a great format for us to do something similar to this. So, and James Rawl from Angry Video Game Nerd has done this with his Cinemassacre stuff. Doug Walker from Nostalgia Critic as well. Like these are the people that I look up to, and I think that this stuff's really funny. So it would be really cool for us, I think, to maybe do this. We're gonna try to get a little powwow of all the angry people together, which for some reason it keeps growing. How many people are actually working on different projects? And but we want to know: is this something you guys would probably find interesting, especially like in the preseason, stuff like that? Something maybe we did once a month or something. We could figure this out and let us know about that, as well as let me know if you guys are interested in these mystery boxes, because I'm still working on those, getting stuff together. It's taking a little more time than I would like, but I'd rather do it right than run it and half-ass it like I do with a lot of other things. So got that, and as always, thanks for tuning into the podcast. And if you could please leave a review on iTunes, that would be amazing. Otherwise, check us out on SoundCloud, or the week after we'll have the snippets up on YouTube.
Nice. You
got anything else to add, Zach?
Just, go snowboarding if you're around some snow. It's still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Amen to that. And I hope that everybody's enjoying their summer or spring or whatever.
Spring,
you call it.
Spring into summer. We're going to keep doing this. I mean, this is episode 5. So we're doing these like every 2 weeks, it seems. Yeah. And I think you guys are liking it. So we'll see you guys next time.
Much love. Thanks.